Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. Derek Yoo. Bum, bum, bum.
Shiny, how's it going, man?
What's up, bro?
Hey, not too much. Not too much. Good to see you. I saw.
Hey, man.
I guess weather's getting nice and stuff. So like, I assume there's a lot of beach like hanging out and everything happening.
There was a lot of hurricane, actually. We had the power go out for about the last 14 hours.
Oh shit! All right. Everything like didn't lose power or anything. Everything's good.
No, we lost power for about 14 hours, but we're back on
okay.
now. I was freaking out. I was like, but the interview.
Well, there we go. We came back just in time.
I'm always worried if I don't interview you soon enough that HR is going to interfere and be like, dude, stock's taking a big enough hit after the last one came out.
No, that's cool. Like, I'll always hop on with you. Like, I remember I hopped on like when you had that party like the first time. So,
dude, that was so surreal for me. Like, what did you think of that party?
I mean, looked like fun. You know, I need to like, I guess, make it there in person at some point. But you know, but it looked like a good group of people from what I could see.
What you didn't know, it was all like an elaborate ruse, like the space landing, everything was CGI'd. I don't even live in, my name's not even Shine.
Yeah, that would be pretty elaborate then with all the tweets that you do and everything.
Oh, we have Russian bots, a whole farm of them. It's like there's a mass misinformation, you know.
So what's going on crypto wise down there? Like how's you know, it's like, is everyone kind of keeping their chin up in the bear market here or what?
It's been a little tough, bro. It's been a little tough for sure. But the crypto clubs, it's still going strong. It starts to wind down a little bit in the summer. I don't know if you saw, we had this amazing, I think you were at Blockdown conference at the same time, but we had a really cool crypto fest.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, I think I saw some pictures or something. Yeah.
How about you, man? What's new? Like, what's cooking?
Yeah, I mean, we're keeping ourselves you know, pretty busy over here. Like, we're I'd say this, like, yes, like market conditions are, you know, perhaps less than ideal now, but I gotta tell you, like when it comes to like teams that are actually building stuff, like, you know, like applications into our grants program, like, you know, phone calls, you know, I always make a point of like anyone who's like building like anything, you know, serious, I'll get on the phone and like meet the team and, you know, try to understand what they're doing and kind of give, you know, give some encouragement and this kind of thing. And I'm on the phone like all day long, like every day basically. So there's still like there's a lot of like people building stuff. And so for me, you know, that's like, you know, our lifeblood, our main focus is, you know, we have this platform that gets brought to life by builders. So as long as I keep seeing those builders there, you know, you know, I feel quite bullish basically about like what's happening on both like Moon River, on Moonbeam. You know, as long as we have like builders building stuff, and I see no, it's like growing, it's not shrinking, it's like growing right now.
There's quite the movement, there's quite the momentum.
Yeah, so I think you know, I'm like quite bullish still, and like, you know, the only reason it would make me, if I would become unbullish or bearish like if I start to see that dry up, but I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing like more people coming in. So I think that, yeah, this market's like cyclical and everything, but you know, I'm quite confident. And you know, we have like, you know, a lot of these like you know, pretty good like announcements and deployments. Like we have a packed like pipeline of these things. So we'll just continue plugging away. You know, this is like where they say in the bear is like when the builders build. So this is like our time then.
Yeah, which what is some of like the projects you're most looking forward to? One with Moon River and Moonbeam. Like, what do you really like? Oh, this one looks dope.
I mean, I would say so. Just it does tend to shift around, but I mean, there's been some great like you know, some great projects. You know, the Exile Racers team just did like a mint like I think, was it yesterday, today? I don't know. They sent me like one like as like a, so I mean that's a great team. That's like a high, you know, a very high quality like NFT project. So you know, that I think that teams like that are like, you know, that definitely like helps our cause to just have like a great team. On I was actually like, I joined like for the first time like the Carnage event, like
yeah,
you know, like Johnny's thing. So like, you know, I'd kind of heard of it, of course, and I'd seen these tweets, but like I'll kind of tell you, I was pretty impressed by like the sheer scale of it. I mean, there was 2 servers, and each server had like, you know, 5-6 zones in it. Each zone, I guess, could support up to 200 people. It was like pretty full in there. So I mean, that's a lot of people basically. So I think that this is the kind of thing where I don't even think a lot of people understand that, you know, there's like real stuff happening, and those are like real numbers. Like that's like probably some of the, why, you know, when it comes to like actual numbers of users playing, that might be up there with, you know, whatever the other like biggest like, you know, like crypto games are. There's a lot of people.
So like, obviously I'm a huge fan of Moon Sama. I'm a Moon boy, a Moverine, if you will. How was your Carnage, man? Like, what did you get up to? Did you get owned? Were you just like going up and
I
milking
mean,
woodcutters again? Like,
it wasn't great. I won't lie to you. Like
yeah,
it was kind of like I had played Minecraft once like a long time ago,
yeah.
so I was like trying to like learn the controls, and like I kind of scurried off and started like crafting some things, and so yeah, it was a little bit. I didn't get full on into it. I feel like, but actually, someone was kind enough to lend me their Bunsama, so I did promise I would go back for like a round 2 at some point. Now that I kind of have a bit of lay of the land, I went through the tutorial to like learn how to do certain things, and so I need to go back. I can tell I'm going to need a little bit of practice so that I can hold my own. And then
Oh,
I'm
dude,
sitting there with like nothing, and you see like there's other people sitting around me that have like glowing swords and other things. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm about to get like destroyed here like immediately. So
dude,
I've got like a hamburger,
it goes
McDonald's
deep.
burger.
We have a crew of like 8 of us, man. I'd never played Minecraft either. We're practicing, we're doing drills, we're building servers. There's 8 of us. We all have like our different methods. We go underground, man. You should roll with us sometime, bro. We'll protect you, man. Anyone messes with
All
my
right,
boy,
all
you
right.
like,
I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah. So I mean, is it so like? Is it just? It's like just the Carnage events is like when people play, right? Is that the or
yeah,
that's like
well, there's a
when?
seasonal server, which I personally haven't played a lot, and there's different rewards and challenges. The one season just ended, but then Carnage is the chance where you can get resources, right? So every Sunday
That's
you
what
can log
everyone's
in.
mining these resources, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
And there's some really, really cool stuff. Like you can craft a moon rod right now, which is a fishing rod. And then you can use that fish. You take grain, you turn the grain into alpha bait, and then you can go and fish and you get these
I
fish.
someone was explaining to me this is like the
Dude,
fish poop, right? There's like there's like
yeah.
a
So,
right.
yeah. So then you get the alpha fish, but then you get the alpha poop as well. And then you can take all these fish and you can craft them into another NFT fish. And then Donnie is making a game called Pawn Sama. So once you make these NFT fish, you're going to be able to do like 5 versus 5 battles, like within the Pawn Sama. So like Moon Sama and like the Minecraft part of it, that's just like the very, very entry point to a whole complete giant ecosystem that he's building with, aside from Moon River, and they're one of the most supportive, stoked community I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Donnie is like, it's he definitely like has a knack for building things that get a lot of people kind of engaged. So
Dude, he is an enigma. Like he's like a character out of a Quentin Tarantino like movie. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
oh, I got another question, man. When is Uniswap going to be implemented in Moonbeam?
It's coming soon, right? So I think there was like 3 stages of governance voting. So there was all 3 of those stages passed. They have like an increasing number of like uni like voting like support that's needed to pass each stage. And the 3rd stage passed, so it's in the like implementation kind of phase like right now. Yeah, I haven't got an update like in the last week or so, but it is like it should be coming quite soon. And yeah, I think that's cool from my point of view because yeah, I mean, I think it probably is like the most famous like DeFi protocol like in the world.
Probably nothing.
I think yeah, it's unique, right? So I think that there's a lot of like Uniswap v2 clones out there, right? On a lot of chains, but Uniswap v3 is special, right? Because that's something that you can't copy. The team themselves, have put some restrictions on copying it, and it just has this like much more kind of like this richer system of like LPing, right? So if you want to LP, that it's almost has like these advanced controls basically to control how you LP into these pools. So yeah, I think it's unique and different. It kind of it's part of the story of why Moon River and Moonbeam are we really want them to be great places for DeFi. I think DeFi is kind of the backbone of having a healthy and great ecosystem with a lot of different things to do with tokens. And I'll tell you that like it has been opening doors too, because there's some I've been having some pretty interesting discussions where at the beginning of the discussion it's something like with other very prominent protocols on things where they're like, well, we saw that the Uniswap thing, like, so then we have to like reach out and kind of talk to you guys, right? That, and I think it's like legitimizing, right? To have a protocol like that deployed. They're not deployed to that many other places. It's Ethereum mainnet, Polygon, and there's a couple other proposals underway, but it's it's a limited list of places where they're deployed right now.
Well, I remember Moonbeam was one of actually the first projects that I kind of heard about on Polkadot. I was asking my friend who was really into crypto, is there anything you're keeping your eyes on? And he's like, there's this Moonbeam one. I was like, well, I do like the moon.
There we go. Yeah, it's like remember the guy Daniele, like of the Frog Nation. Like,
Yeah,
he was like, he was like, "You're gonna be successful." After I talked to him, I'm like, "Oh, great!" I'm like, "This guy really gets it." I'm like, "Yeah, but is it our tech, our product?" He's like, "No, you have Moon in your name, so of course you're gonna be
yeah,
successful."
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "Ah, that's not exactly what I had in mind, but okay, fine, I'll take it."
No, it's true. It's true. Like people went into Safe Moon, they did well. I was thinking outside the box, went into Safe Mars, not so good. Not so good.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
little
yeah.
too obvious. Hey, you were just, oh, another question, another technical question. You were just with Ingo Roop from Kilton Davos. When are you guys planning to implement XC Kilt?
Yeah, I think we've been talking about it. I think, there's, we want to do it. I think that we're just working with them to see when like everything's ready to bring it over. But we want to do that. In general, our strategy on, XC20s being these movable tokens is the first feature we ship that's based on XCM. We have other features that are coming that I'm pretty excited about, but it's the first most obvious feature. And so our strategy is really to just open channels with basically anyone that like is a parachain that like has meets some basics like checks that we do to make sure that they're ready for it, and bi-directional movement of tokens. Like we see that as just part of how we can add value, because for a lot of other chains, I think we just have like a bunch of services, as we were just talking about DeFi and otherwise, on our chain. So that's like helpful, right, to other chains to be able to list, put their tokens into this DeFi ecosystem. So Kilt's no different. Yeah, I did have a nice chat. We were on a panel together. I was on a panel with Ingo, and yeah, I think it was pretty well received. Davos was pretty cool. First time there. A lot of like people that I think are not like the crypto natives that I usually, I'm usually kind of more crypto native kind of audience, and there was a lot of other people. But I'll tell you, there was a lot of interest in like blockchain and Web3 even more generally. Polkadot had a great venue there, but there was other blockchain companies there. I'd say that of the the projects and kind of companies that were exhibiting there, a good chunk of them, probably a quarter of them, were Web3 or blockchain companies. So this is like, that to me tells me that blockchain is not this like niche thing anymore, right? This is like, at the center of like where the best economic minds are, and then a quarter of the companies are blockchain companies. That tells me something about this mainstream adoption.
I'm so curious about Davos. So like during the day, you guys did a conference and stuff. What did you do at night? Did you guys like dress up as owls and like plot the weather? What did you do?
No, there was a lot of events, and like there was different parties and the different projects were throwing it. Polkadot, the Polkadot team themselves had an event one night. Yeah, Gavin Wood was there, so I got a chance to like hang out with him for a little bit, so that was really cool. We chatted about like computers, like old computers from when we were little, so
that's on brand.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't, so that was good. Yeah, so and as I said, like I think we're just, and right now it feels like we're in like a very busy time for Moonriver and MoonBeam. So I was also like ducking out and trying to make sure that all the threads and the balls we have in the air going are kind of continue to stay in the air. As we're kind of launching like a whole bunch of different different projects and different things are happening. In the next month, I'd say there's going to be a bunch of activity on MoonBeam in particular, actually.
Did you meet Klaus Schwab?
I don't know. Did I meet him? Give me more context. Like, remind me. Like,
he's like the German guy from the world. He runs like the World Economic Forum. German guy, bald.
No, I didn't. I didn't meet him. But
usually petting a hairless cat and demanding large ransoms. We can edit this out.
That's fine. I was hanging out mostly with like the spending time at the Polkadot like venue, because they had a full program of different talks and other things. So it was good. It was good though.
So Davos is cool.
Yeah. It's a bit of travel for me, but I've been trying to get out there. I have like I'm really trying to evangelize a new message, and really where we're focusing our forward development energy. So I feel like for MoonBeam, our first goal was to ship as a parachain our base function, to have shipped this like Ethereum and EVM like functionality. That was like the first set of engineering challenges we had, and so we've largely done that now, right? So we've like shipped the both Moonriver and MoonBeam, and we have this full Ethereum implementation. A whole bunch of people are using it, and so the question is like, what's what's next. And really, like, the thing that we're leaning into are these like cross-chain scenarios, right? And so we're adding more features. I talked about this XC20 feature as the first one, but we have other cross-chain features we're building to allow for scenarios where you might have something happening on one parachain that triggers like an action to happen on MoonBeam, right, via XCM. We're working with other teams that are building these apps that are going to like be deployed across many chains at once, but it's going to be like one system. And this is my belief, is that we're at the beginning of a big shift in how apps are built, to kind of move from being designed to only be deployed on one chain to being deployed on many chains at once. And so we're really like, this was part of the idea all along, was to be like the best place to build those apps as that shift is happening. I think that shift's going to happen over the next like 12 to 24 months. We're going to see a big shift in how developers are building these things. So as part of that, I'm really just trying to like get out there and explain, because I think this is new. I mean, these features are new. XCM just shipped like last month. We work with another partner, Axelar, like they just shipped like their messaging system like last month. So I think there's just like education needed about like, hey, like, look, there's these new systems out there now that allow you to connect like blockchains together. And so I think I'm trying to do my part getting out there to conferences. I'm going to be at Consensus in the next week, giving a talk as well to explain like what this means, explain the benefits, try to get like developers excited about these new possibilities that are being opened up with things like XCM.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Like, obviously, like Gavin Wood would say, the future is multi-chain. What did he call Polkadot? There's like a really good phrase for it. It was like the internet of internets. How like in the future, you won't even, when he's talking in the future, you won't even know what chain you're on. Everything will be so interoperable and so seamless that the thought of having to bridge something over, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right on with what I think is happening. So on that idea of like, you won't even know what chains you're interacting with. I mean, I'll just point to like a tangible example, like right now. So like right now on MoonBeam, the Lido protocol is just shipped, right? So the Lido protocol allows you can kind of get DOT like onto MoonBeam. You can deposit DOT into Lido, and you get out this like ST DOT, right? You get out this DOT that's like staked DOT. And so the interesting part about this example is, on MoonBeam, it's actually using XCM under the hood. So like really? When the Lido team came to us, their challenge was like, well, we want to build this like this thing for DOT, but like the Polkadot like relay chain, it doesn't have any smart contracts. MoonBeam does have smart contracts, but doesn't have DOT. So how do we like solve this problem? So that's the challenge we worked on with them, to say, okay, build your application on like MoonBeam, but we'll create the system where you can send these XCM messages back to the relay chain to control like staking operations. And so even if you use Lido right now, it feels like you're just interacting with one application, like one dApp. It's a very simple like interface. But behind the scenes, you're actually interacting with two chains. You're interacting with MoonBeam and with like the Polkadot relay chain. But the key thing, the user doesn't know that, right? They don't know that they're interacting with two chains. And so I think that's like, it's a very simple example, but I think it's the direction where things are headed, where in the future, you might be interacting with one app, but behind the scenes, there might be 10 blockchains. There might be many blockchains that are kind of processing like what's happening behind the scenes, specialized chains. But the user, like, the key is that you don't want the user to have to understand all 10 things they're interacting with. They're kind of abstracted, right? And so that's, to me, that's the same way that apps, like mobile apps and other apps, like evolved, like even in the non-blockchain world, right? Where in the beginning, you had to know about like all the servers and other things you're connecting to is very technical. But then over time, like the user experience got like more and more abstract, and like all of that plumbing was kind of more and more hidden away from the user. And I think that I'm quite convinced that for Web3 apps to get adoption, it needs to follow the same path, where it becomes like easier for the user to like use these things, but you can still power them with like all of these different blockchains like behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, can you talk to your boy Gavin about the Polkadot.js wallet extension? Because that's a little tricky for the
we didn't talk about any shop other than the computer. So
I would do nothing but just be his yes man. If I was around him, I'd be like, yes sir, sir. I would call him sir always, sir, Lord.
There we go. But honestly, like, I mean, the point you're making is like a real point. And there are some other wallet teams that have like are working to build like different and enhanced like user experiences. But I will say that is something, like Nova, like we work with them, and like there's Talisman, there's several other
Talisman,
sub wallet. But I would say that this is something we recognize early on, and that is part of the the rationale for the strategy we adopted, where using this Ethereum like style approach, users could use MetaMask, right? And for better or for worse, it just is kind of this thing that people already have and know how to use, and it's well tested and other things. So that's like a point of friction that when you're working with Moonbeam, you can kind of avoid some of that wallet friction of having to set up a new wallet, having to learn like a new thing, where people come, especially coming from other chains, they're like, oh, I already have MetaMask, and let me just switch networks, and okay, now I'm on Moonriver or Moonbeam. And so that was definitely like a key point as to like why we thought this approach would be good, because we see our role for Datsama a little bit as being this like this entry point or this on ramp, right? Where maybe people don't know a lot about Datsama or Substrate or other things, but we kind of make for this easy place where people can kind of switch MetaMask or like using a DApp on Moonriver, say. But then once they're there, they might say, oh, okay, like, but Moonriver is only part of this larger system. So what are the other chains on here? Oh, and look, I can transfer tokens. I can start doing things with other chains. And then that becomes kind of a gateway to then learning about the rest of the ecosystem. So that's a little bit of the role I think we can play in the broader, like in broader Datsama. And that helps, I think, where we can kind of make it easy for people to onboard in and then learn like about more things over time.
Hey man, don't make it too easy though. I'm trying to accumulate over here. I'm trying to stack up my staking rewards, bro.
Yeah. I guess that's that's been running for a while. Even on Moonriver, we renewed our parachain slots. We're on parachain slot number 2 now.
Yeah, and you guys funded it yourself, right? How did that work?
I mean, we just looked at it from a practical perspective. So obviously the cost of these parachains has fluctuated dramatically. So, and actually I think it's worth, for what it's worth, I'll just comment a little bit on this, that, I have even heard the criticism of Datsama that, hey, it's like these parachains are too expensive, right? So if you're a team building, does it make sense to build on Datsama because these parachains are so expensive, and you can go to another chain where it's cheaper? And so is it cost prohibitive to build on Datsama? And so I think that's a reaction to when, we were among some of the first projects to deploy, and there was a lot of like speculative, noise surrounding the initial launch of parachains. And as a result, these crowd loans went for like a very high amount of both KSM and DOT. That being said, like the prices come way down, right? So I would say at this point, the cost of a parachain slot is like much more reasonable. And so I think that's important though. Like, people are saying, oh, well, shouldn't it be higher? It's like, no, like, because we want it to be affordable for teams to come in and build parachains. That's like the heart of the system, is having great teams building these parachains that are going to provide, useful services even for the other chains to connect to and use. And so I'm actually pleased with that. But as a result, when we saw what the prices were for parachain slots on Kusama when we had to renew, we realized that just self-funding might be a way, that might be the best route for us, because we could just take care of that, extend the chain for another 48 weeks, and then obviously reserve tokens that may have been used as crowd loan awards for grants and other things. This is the Moving Foundation I'm speaking about here, right? That they could issue tokens for a lot of these development teams I'm talking about, right, to help support them deploy.
That's why you're a CEO and I'm a clown, sir. Hey, I know your time's very valuable. I appreciate you coming so much. Just like a final word or something. There's a lot of people in the Moonriver, specifically the Moonriver community, that we're still holding, we're still staking, we're still believing. There's blood in the water. Obviously, that's no one's fault. That's the whole market. That's the global economic system as a whole. Do you have any words of support or encouragement for the Moverines that are continuing to just chill in the trenches? Because we just love what you're doing, the energy behind this project, your team, and of course, just Moonriver and Moonbeam.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I appreciate you and all the people that are holding strong. I know that it's kind of tough times out there a little bit, but I would go back to some of the points I made before, that if I look at the fundamentals, right? If I look at teams building, grant applications, deployed protocols, progress on building up activity, all these fundamentals are in a positive direction. And if I combine that with these new cross-chain features that are uniquely enabled by Polkadot, right? These are things that you can't do if you're another EVM, if you're a standalone EVM, if you're Avalanche or these other, they just don't have Substrate and this XCM technology, they just don't have it. And I think that's gonna, the market is slowly coming to understand how valuable these things are, right? So I think that, great fundamentals, all this building activity, like, happening on the chain, like unique, like technical capabilities that like can't be like, they can't be replicated easily because it took like 5 years to build these things. Those are like the ingredients for something that like once like things turn around, I think there's going to be like a lot of strength and momentum. Like once like, the cycle kind of like, moves on. So yeah, I'm like bullish, like, I'm quite bullish. And yeah, again, I appreciate kind of everyone kind of, hanging strong, like, in the community.
Oh, that was good, man. That got me fired up. I was expecting you to yell like freedom or something at the end. One final question, sir. When to loom? When to loom, sir?
When to loom? Yes, I know. It's been discussed a few times, and it hasn't happened.
Hey, man, I gotta keep bugging you.
When's the next party? Like, when's the next thing?
Well, I was thinking, I was manifested. So Chico Crypto wants to come down in September. It's his birthday. Also, we were talking to the guys at Exosama about potentially doing a launch. So my dream scenario, this is my dream scenario. Like I'm good at manifesting things. That's why I'm talking to you right now. My dream scenario is like sometime in September, maybe late September, we do Exosama launch in combination with the MoonBeam team coming down, Derek Yoo speaking, and at night we do Chico Crypto's birthday party.
All right. Well, that sounds like a pretty action-packed day.
Hey,
yeah. I mean, let's see if we can do it
for the moon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, Derek. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you, man.
All right. Yeah, anytime, Shiny.
Hey, and Carnage, man.
Carnage. I'll look you guys up next time. So
we're gonna make you an offer you can't refuse, dude. We're gonna
I need like the bodyguard protection because I don't know what I'm doing in there.
Dude, we're gonna get you we'll get you a moon rod. We'll get you fishing. We'll take care of you, buddy. We'll take care. We appreciate everything you've done.
All right. Cool.
All right, brother. Have a great day, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
All right. Take care.